What are you doing?
Just making some fried rice.
You have to rinse it while it's still hot.
Can I just eat my...
Give me that. You have to wash it with hot water immediately after use. No soap, no scrubbing.
Dude, you don't even clean it. There's all these food bits in it.
That is seasoning.
Seasoning? That is food.
No, that is seasoning. That's how you impart flavors from your pan. My dream is to give this pan to my grandkids with decades of seasoning on it, okay?
Bro, that is not some seasoning. You want some seasoning with that cake?
Ignoramus.
There's a lot of conflicting information out there regarding cast iron pans. But take a look at this. Can your cast iron do this? So maybe you might want to listen to what I have to say. By the way, I need to give you some background information. I did this from scratch, literally. I bought a used, large cast iron pan, and I took it to the hardware shop. And I ground it. Ground it? Grinded it. Funny story, actually. Anyway, I was living in Korea and I acquired this large cast iron pan, and it was used, and it was already seasoned. Well, then I received it, but I noticed that there was some gunk on it and the inside was a little bit rough and rusty. I took the seller at his word and I just tried using the pan for a while. Then I started researching on my own, and I came across all the online battles. You've got the never use soap camp and the sometimes soap is okay camp. You got the scrubbers and the never scrubs, and I was just confused. But I needed to go through the learning process on my own. And I like a nice DIY project, so I decided to just start from scratch. So I took it to this ma and pa hardware shop nearby, and I asked about using their grinder. And they said, yeah, sure, you can rent it for manon, which is like $8. And so that's what I did. But it's not like I got like a workshop or anything like that. So I'm like, hey, can I just do this here? And they said, yeah, just take it outside on the side of the alleyway and you can just do it right there. All right, I'll do that. So there I am on the side of the small city alleyway in Seoul, grinding away at my cast iron pan with this grinder. Sparks are flying everywhere and cars are driving by. I've got no mask, no gloves. Anyway, it was kind of fun, and the shop owner was even like,
야, 너 이거 잘한다. 너 여기 와서 일하지.
And I'm like, no thanks, I'm an aspiring YouTuber. Then I was left with this beautiful piece of bare iron, which as you can see looks very different in color. What's the point of my story again? Ah yes, I did it from scratch, and I got it to this point where I can do this with my pan. So listen to what I have to say as I impart this cast iron wisdom on you. I gotta say, I did season and re-season along the way and start from scratch again, but at this point I feel like I've gotten it down. The pan doesn't scare me anymore. So without further ado, 6 myths about the cast iron pan. Well, I find that there's 2 schools of thought on this. Hear me out. There's the Western method that we're all familiar with, and that is to season after each use. But then there's also the wok method, where you season right before each use. I think that with the Western method, you do save a little bit more oil in the long run just because you're using less your seasoning. But with the wok method, I do think you do get a better non-stick surface. So at the end of the day, it boils down to whether you season your pan before or after cooking. It's sort of like with brushing your teeth in the morning. Do you do it after eating breakfast or before eating breakfast? You'd be surprised how many people are divided over this. It's almost like the whole toilet paper roll debate. Do you put it over or under? For the record, I brush my teeth after eating breakfast, and I'm toilet paper team over. Do you brush your teeth before or after eating breakfast? Are you team over or under? Are you season after cooking or before cooking? Leave a comment below on these controversial topics. Speaking of controversy, some people think that you have to wash your pan after every single use of your pan. I'd say generally yes, but it's not always true. Some foods will give you a nice release, like these eggs, and you probably don't have to wash it for the next use. Unless you know it's going to sit there for a while and you're not going to use it, in which case just wash it and store it. Some food will naturally stick to your pan, and if that happens, then just wash it and re-season it. No biggie. The most important thing here is that you get better at reading and understanding your pan. Wash. If it needs a wash, give it a wash. If you can get away with not washing it, then don't wash it. Save it till later. Look, sometimes you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you gotta get to work. And nobody got time for this. You can't just sit there waiting for your pan to cool down so that you can wash it and dry it and then re-season it. Sometimes you just gotta get to work. Get to work, do your thing, come back, it'll still be there when you get back. Deal with it when you deal with it. It's totally fine. Even the most well-seasoned pan will need the occasional scrubbing. If you can get away with not using soap, great. But if you need to get in there with a Brillo pad and soap, sometimes you just need to do what you gotta do. This I find actually helps with the seasoning process.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yes you did. If you have food stuck to your pan, what are you gonna do? Just create a new layer of seasoning right over it? No, you will create cakes. I mean, like, you will make your pancake. Not you will make your pancake, but you get what I'm saying. The point is that you want to build up small microscopic layers of seasoning on your pan. And over time, as the seasoning fills in those microscopic jags, your pan will get smoother and smoother. You don't want microscopic food fossilizing into your pan to give to your grandkids. So all you have to do is run it over some hot water and feel it with your hands. If you feel any unevenness or bumps, just treat those areas. After scrubbing, you shouldn't feel anything. They should feel smooth and glassy. You're probably wondering if you're stripping off the layers of seasoning. No. Well, yes and no. By treating those spots, you ensure that you get a nice, tight buildup of seasoning over time. It's a long game.
What are you doing? Just admiring the seasoning on my cast iron pan. It like adds flavor to whatever you're cooking. Adds flavor? Yeah, cast iron, bro. If it's well seasoned, it adds flavor to your food. Yeah, I'm not really sure that's how it works. You wouldn't know. It's cast iron, it makes everything better.
If your pan is adding seasoning to your food, you're doing something wrong. We all like that trope of the ancient heirloom pot that's been boiling for centuries in your open-air Asian market. Maybe true, maybe false, but that is not seasoning. It's a nice romantic idea, but that's not what we're going for here. Somewhere along the line, someone looked up the wrong entry in the dictionary. Seasoning here simply means polymerized oil that's coating your pan. What this whole video is all about. Seasoning your food is done with spices. Intentionally, not some vague romanticized idea about your pan imparting historical flavors to your food. If your pan is seasoning your food, your pan is not seasoned properly. And you are not a seasoned cast iron master. I'm not gonna say that this applies in every situation, but for me, yeah, it's true. I've had it happen to me where I get a nice seasoning going and then I throw some tomato sauce in the pan and then it ends up stripping away all of my pan seasoning. Probably what that means is I just didn't have a perfectly sealed seasoning. It happens. I guess in theory, if you have a perfectly sealed seasoning with enough layers to handle the acidity, it should be fine. But honestly, the effort in trying to avoid that is just not worth it for me. I'd just rather not worry about it, and I'll probably do it again. If your seasoning strips, just re-season. And it's not the worst thing in the world to get a little bit of extra iron in your diet. And yeah, that's supposed to be one of the benefits of using a cast iron pan over, say, Teflon. This one depends. Some people talk about seeing their cast iron pan flake off their seasoning because they heated it up too quickly. That's never happened to me, so I can't really speak for it. But there are some things that do require a nice even heat, like steak. Please don't ruin a steak because you were too hasty with your cast iron. That's because cast iron doesn't heat up very evenly. It retains heat very nicely, but it doesn't heat up very evenly. So heating it up slowly is supposed to correct for that. If I'm heating up something like, say, fried rice or a sauce or anything that requires stirring, I'm not too worried about how slowly or quickly I heat up the pan. I'm just going to be stirring it anyway. But anything that requires precision, you should probably heat up the pan slowly. Most other things, I'd say don't sweat it. Well, that's it. 6 cast iron pan myths debunked for you. I hope this video helps dispel all your fears on using your cast iron pan and inspires you to go ahead and use it. That really is the best thing you can do with your cast iron pan. If you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit that bell for the notification, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.